Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Amelia and I'm so glad you're here with me today. If you're watching this, there's a really good chance you've felt that quiet ache in your chest. The one that comes when you really wanted to be close to someone special, but things didn't quite go the way you hoped. Maybe she pulled away, or the moment just fizzled out, and you were left wondering what you did wrong. First, I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. You're not alone in this. It's such a normal, human thing to feel a little sad or lonely when that happens. And the beautiful part? It doesn't have to stay that way. Today, we're going to talk about how to create those warm, magnetic connections that feel natural and exciting for both of you. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, about how so many good-hearted men carry around this fear of rejection. You're not scared of closeness itself. What stings is that moment when you reach out and suddenly the energy shifts. She goes cold, or you sense that wall go up. It can make you question everything. But imagine if there was a different path, one where you invite connection without pressure, without games, and without that heavy fear of hearing no. A way that feels respectful, genuine, and deeply human. That's what we're exploring together today. No tricks, no manipulation, just understanding how hearts really work so you can show up as the calm, confident man who naturally draws people closer. Let me start with something that feels true for so many of us. Most women aren't saying no because they don't. Amelia. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Amelia, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. If you're watching this, there's a really good chance you've felt that quiet ache in your chest. The one that comes when you really wanted to be close to someone special, but things didn't quite go the way you hoped. Maybe she pulled away, or the moment just fizzled out, and you were left wondering what you did wrong. First, I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. You're not alone in this. It's such a normal, human thing to feel a little sad or lonely when that happens. And the beautiful part, it doesn't have to stay that way. Today, we're going to talk about how to create those warm, magnetic connections that feel natural and exciting for both of you. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, about how so many good-hearted men carry around this fear of rejection. You're not scared of closeness itself. What stings is that moment when you reach out and suddenly the energy shifts. She goes cold, or you sense that wall go up. It can make you question everything. But imagine if there was a different path, one where you invite connection without pressure, without games, and without that heavy fear of hearing no. A way that feels respectful, genuine, and deeply human. That's what we're exploring together today. No tricks, no manipulation, just understanding how hearts really work so you can show up as the calm, confident man who naturally draws people closer. Let me start with something that feels true for so many of us. Most women aren't saying no because they don't like closeness or because they don't like you. They're responding to how the moment feels in their body and heart. If it feels rushed, heavy, or like there's an expectation hanging in the air, their guard goes up. But when it feels safe, light, and full of good energy, their heart naturally opens. That's the shift we're going to make together. By the end of this, you'll have gentle, practical ways to build that kind of emotional safety. So connection happens because she wants it to. Let's be honest about how attraction often works differently for men and women. For a lot of guys, it can spark quickly. You see someone who lights you up and your whole system says yes almost instantly. For women, it's more like tending to a beautiful garden. It grows in layers, shaped by how she feels understood, safe, and excited about what might unfold. She might meet you and feel neutral at first, but over time, through real conversations, shared laughs, and those little moments of feeling truly seen, something deeper blooms. She starts thinking about you when you're not around. That's not a game. It's just how her emotions need space to breathe and grow. Knowing this changes how you move through these moments. Instead of rushing to force a connection, you become the kind of person who creates the perfect environment for her feelings to develop naturally. You stop pushing doors open and start building bridges that feel warm and inviting. One of the biggest shifts is moving away from direct transactional questions. Think about it. Saying something like, "Want to come back to my place?" can feel like a sudden spotlight on her. It puts her in a position where she has to decide right then and there. And that pressure often leads to hesitation or a polite no. Instead, we want to create an emotional invitation, something that speaks to her feelings rather than demanding a yes or no. Picture this. You're having a wonderful evening together. The conversation is flowing, there's laughter, and there's that subtle spark in the air. Rather than leaping forward, what if you leaned into the moment with warmth and presence? You might share something like, "I really love how easy it feels to talk with you. Like time just slips away." You're not asking for anything. You're simply noticing and naming the good energy that's already there. This plants a gentle seed in her mind. She starts to focus on the connection too, and her own feelings get amplified in the best way. There are 3 key switches that need to be on for that natural yes to emerge: safety, trust, and anticipation. Let's talk about each one because they make all the difference. Safety isn't just about physical security, it's soul-level safety. It's the deep knowing that she can be herself, share her thoughts, even her vulnerabilities, without fear of judgment or pressure. You create this by being that steady, calm presence, like a harbor she can sail into. You listen more than you speak. Your voice stays warm and even. When she shares something personal, you respond with kindness instead of trying to fix it or steer the conversation back to you. You show her through your actions that you're someone who respects her pace and her boundaries. In that space, her heart doesn't have to stay guarded. It can soften. Trust builds brick by brick. It's the quiet consistency of showing up as the person you say you are. When you say you're enjoying her company without needing anything more right now, and your behavior matches those words, trust deepens. She starts to believe she can be fully herself around you. No masks, no performing. That foundation is everything because without it, even strong chemistry can fade. And then there's anticipation, that delicious, fluttering feeling of, "I wonder what happens next." This is where so many moments get lost. Men often rush straight to the goal and miss the beautiful tension that makes everything more exciting. Slow down, let the long looks linger. Notice the way your hands almost brush. Let there be comfortable silence filled with smiles. When you don't rush, she feels valued, not pursued as a prize. That anticipation becomes magnetic, pulling her toward you because it feels special and rare. I love this idea of the gentle pullback. It's counterintuitive, but incredibly powerful. Instead of always moving closer, sometimes you create a little space on purpose. Not coldly, but warmly, like you're completely content just being in her presence. This takes all the pressure off. Suddenly, she's the one who wants to close that gap. Maybe you're sitting close, the vibe is great, and instead of leaning in for a kiss, you smile, lean back slightly, and just appreciate the moment. That tiny bit of space often makes her reach out, touching your arm, moving closer. Now it's her choice, and that changes everything. She feels in control, desired, and safe. Another beautiful tool is planting those emotional seeds. You don't have to ask for closeness directly. You can simply reflect the good feelings you're noticing. There's something really nice about the way our energies match up tonight. Or you have this calm way about you that makes everything feel more peaceful. These aren't demands, they're observations that help her tune into her own positive emotions. Her mind starts connecting the dots, and the connection grows organically. It's also so important to create space for her feminine energy to shine. Women often carry the weight of the world, being strong, capable, independent. When they're with a man who is grounded, calm, and not anxious or overly eager, they can finally relax into their softer side. You don't have to be emotionless, just centered, comfortable in your own skin, not constantly seeking reassurance with your eyes or words. That masculine steadiness is deeply attractive because it lets her let go. She feels like she can be vulnerable and cherished, not like she has to manage the moment or take care of your emotions. When the moment starts to feel intimate, check in with her feelings rather than asking for a decision. Instead of, do you want to? Try something like, does this feel good for you right now? Or, I want to make sure you're comfortable. How are you feeling? This gives her the steering wheel. It shows respect. Even if she says it's moving a little fast, you respond with grace. I completely understand. I'm really enjoying just being here with you. That respect often makes her feel so safe that she opens up even more later. Being a mirror to her heart is another natural human skill we all have deep down. When she leans in, you lean in with the same gentle energy. When she shares a soft touch, you respond in kind. This mirroring creates harmony, like a beautiful dance where you're both moving together. It tells her nervous system that you're attuned, that you see her, and that you're in sync. It's how babies learn safety from their parents' smiles, and it's how adults build profound emotional bonds. Finally, talk about the moment itself. Name the beauty without turning it into a question. This feels really special right now. Or, I love how natural and comfortable this is with you. By highlighting the good feelings, you're inviting her to lean into them even more. There's no pressure to say yes or no. It's just two people appreciating the connection that's unfolding. Let me share a quick story that might resonate. I once knew a guy named David who was kind, funny, and genuinely wanted real connection. But every time things got close with someone he liked, he'd push forward too fast out of nervousness, and it would create distance. After learning to slow down, build safety, and use these gentle invitations, his whole approach changed. One evening with a woman he'd been seeing, instead of rushing, he simply said, I really enjoy how easy it feels to be around you. He leaned back, smiled, and let the moment breathe. She ended up being the one to move closer, kiss him softly, and tell him later how safe and excited she felt. That relationship grew beautifully because it was built on mutual desire, not pressure. These aren't rigid rules. They're ways to show up more authentically as a man who values real connection. When you practice this, rejection loses its sting because you're not forcing outcomes. You're creating space for something mutual and joyful. If you're still with me, thank you. I know this stuff can touch on vulnerable places, and it means a lot that you're here, open to growing. You're already becoming the kind of man who can create those deep, loving connections. The kind where both people feel cherished and excited to be together. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you, kindness matters. You are worthy of love from someone who respects your heart just as much as you respect hers. Keep learning. Keep showing up with that warm presence and trust that the right connections will unfold in their own beautiful timing. If this resonated with you, drop a like, share your thoughts in the comments. I read them all, and subscribe so we can keep exploring these heart-centered topics together. What was one thing that stood out to you today? Let me know. Sending you so much warmth and peace for the rest of your day. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.